Hey there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build an AI-powered resume generator using Bubble. And no code, just OpenAI and smart workflows. So what does this application do? The user is going to fill out a form. In this form, they're going to include their name, their job title, their skills, and they're going to instantly get a clean professional resume built by GPT-4. So you can display this as a styled HTML or even export it to PDF if you want. This kind of tool is perfect for career platforms, freelancer portfolios, or as a standalone product you can monetize. And the best part is it's built entirely on Bubble. No complex backend, no front-end coding, just smart logic and the right API. So here's a quick demo of how it works. We're going to fill in our name. Number of years. Then we're going to hit generate the resume. So what this is doing, it's taking our form, sending it to OpenAI, and then OpenAI is going to bring us back a fully done resume. So right now it's just, the main functionality, and later on your own, you can style it. I'm going to show you how you can do that. So if you scroll down, we're going to see it generated back the raw data that we need in our resume. You can see it says Sam Harris, React developer, gives us a summary. Experienced React developer, 10 years in the industry, and highly proficient in React, HTML, and Figma, strong creative and analytical skills. I'm going to show you how you can tailor this to even give us more information. If you want like 3 pages of content, we can do that. I'm going to show you in this video how we can get that done. So before we jump into the video, if you're building something with Bubble or stuck on your app and need help, you can reach out to my agency, JetBuild Studio. So I'm going to just head over to my site. I'm going to put that in the video description. We help founders, startups, and indie makers build fast, scalable Bubble applications. So this is the site. You can see what clients are saying about it.
Hey, I'm a founder and I had this idea for a pretty complex web app. I knew what I wanted it to do, but I had no idea where to start. I didn't have the time or budget for a full development team. After some research, I came across JetBuild Studio, and honestly, they've been absolutely incredible. From the very first call, everything's felt easy. They understood my idea right away. They asked smart questions and gave me a fixed price that was way more reasonable than anything else that I'd seen. They assigned Douglas, one of their senior developers, and within a few days, he had a working version of the app already in progress. Every deadline was hit, every change that I asked for was handled fast, and the UI looks clean, the workflows run smoothly, and the whole thing just works. So if you're thinking of building something in Bubble or just want someone who actually delivers without overcharging, Jet Build Studio is the team that you want. I'm already planning the next version with them. Can't recommend them enough.
Some sites that we've built. So we've helped over 60 startups and founders build their applications, realize their ideas. So this took us just 8 weeks to build, and it came with a web application in Bubble and a mobile application which was built using React Native. So yeah, head over to our site, reach out to us, and we can help you. So let's head over to the build. Okay, let's get started. So I have a Notion document. This is going to be linked in the description of this video. And then it's just going to help us navigate this video. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to look at our Bubble data structure. So this is optional if you want to save this in the Bubble database. So the first field is going to be the name, which is going to be of type text. And it can be, so this is going to be a full name, but we can also have an option where we can have a first name, last name. Then we have title. So this is going to be a job title. It's going to be of type text. We have summary, which is going to be of type text. we have your skills. This is going to be a list of texts, or to simplify things, it can be text separated with a comma. Then experience, education, and then next up we have the input form fields. So this is where I'm going to start. So let's go to our Bubble application. So I've gone ahead, I've created a Bubble application. First thing that I'm going to do on the index page, so I'm going to click the index page. I'm going to go on layout. So we never want a fixed layout. We always want either a column or a row. And then for the default width, it's going to be 1.4. Then the first thing, so we can build this in many ways. We can have a multi-form where, those forms where you click next, it opens the next section of the form. You click next, it opens the next section of the form. So that's the form that I want here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to have an input. So we have an input. This input, I'm going to call it name. Right? The next input is going to be job title. So just Control C, Control V. Years of experience. Control C, Control V. Then skills. Education. Then certification. Okay. Then what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to highlight all these inputs. Then I'm going to group them. So I'm going to group them in a column container. And this group, I'm going to call it form. So this is just good practice so that everything is responsive. Then I'm going to go to layout. Then I'm going to make this element fixed width like this. Then I think I'm just going to make it something like 200 or maybe a bit bigger. Yeah, something like this. Then I'm going to align this to the center. Then I want some margin at the top. So let's just say 100. Then inside the form, I want to apply gap of 20. So this is space in between our components. Yeah, so let's go back to our index. I think 1.4 is too much. Let's do 1.2. Okay, that's perfect. Then here, this is going to be name. Title. Years. Then the content. Then this is going to be skills. Then education. Then certification. Okay. Yeah, this looks good. Then below this, we need a button that's going to be generating the resume. Okay, I need to put it inside the form like this. Then fit the width to content. Give the button a label, generate resume. Yeah, Perfect. This looks good. Then what I want on the index page. So if we go down here, we're going to send a resume. So we're going to construct this resume, have these inputs, name, job title, years of experience, skills, education, certification. Oh, I forgot languages. But it doesn't matter for now because I think you get the idea, right? So let's go to generate resume. Then we're going to add a workflow. So right now, we're not able to really do anything yet because we still need to set up the OpenAI keys. So let's do that next. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to go to platform.openai.com. So I've already gone ahead and done that. And what you need to do is go to the section where it says API keys. So by default, you're going to go to the landing page, create an account. Once you create an account, click dashboard. Then when you're on your dashboard, you go to API keys. And then on API keys, we're going to create a new secret key. So you come here, create new secret key. Then I'm going to call this resume builder. Give it all the permissions. So after this video, I'm going to delete this key. Then we create the secret key. Okay, so you need to keep this safe. Copy this, right? Then go to our plugins, add a plugin. Then we're going to install the API connector because this is going to allow us to connect to OpenAI. Okay, then we're going to click add an API call. We're going to call this OpenAI authentication. We leave it like this. Then here, so in this document, you're going to see how we're going to be able to do this. So let me just paste my key there. Just make it a bit smaller. Yeah, text. Okay, so it's going to be a post request to this URL. So it's going to be a post request to this URL. So we scroll down. So this is what we call an API call. We're going to call it generate resume. Okay, in action, it's going to be the users is going to be tab action, the data tab, JSON, while calling this API, and it's going to be a post request. Right, and that looks good for now. So we go back to our main header, and we need to set up the authentication. So the first thing that we need to do, we need to create a header called authorization. So this is just for authenticating with our endpoint. And in here is where we add our token. But before we put the token in front of it, we need to write this word, bearer token. So just bearer, you leave that. We come back here, copy our token, right? Then we're going to put a space, then paste. So everything is in this Notion. I'm going to share it to you. So the first header is going to be authorization, bearer space, then you put your token. The next one is going to be content type. So you're just telling the API that I want the content type to be of application JSON. So yeah. So that's done. So doing this just means that these are sort of like the shared headers for all the calls. So all the calls that we make here are now going to be authenticated just because we did it up here. So there's no need to do it down here every single time. It just knows that this is the shared header. Then in here, we need to construct what is called the request body that was sending to OpenAI. So the first thing that we need to do is tell it the model that we want to use. So for this, we're going to be using the ChatGPT 4. Then we need to give it a message. So the message is sort of like a system message. This is a request that we need to give it. So here we're telling it that you are a resume builder assistant. Return only raw HTML, no commentary, no markdown, no code formatting, and no codes around the entire response. So we're telling it that I want you to build a resume, but only return the raw HTML, right? So it's going to return us an HTML of a resume. And then here is a user request. So we're telling it, what do I want the resume to look like? right? So these are sort of like the instructions. So I'm telling it, create a full professional resume in HTML using the following information. Style the HTML with simple inline CSS. Do not include any explanation. So sometimes it's going to be having comments. We don't need that because we're just going to be displaying that HTML. Right? Return only valid HTML. And then here we're now passing it in the parameters. So parameters is going to be like what's in our form in Bubble. So if we go back to Bubble, we're now passing in the name, the title. So we're like, hey, OpenAI, my name is, we pass in the name. Then we pass in the job title. I am a software developer. We pass in the number of years. Then we're telling it that with that information that we've passed in, I want you to generate a resume. As you can see, experience, skills, education, right? And we pass in all that information. So now we go back to our plugin, our body, then we're passing in all this information. Okay. And then for Bubble, to understand that these are parameters that we need to pass in, we need to go through our content. So it says style, the HTML, return only valid. Then here where it says experience, I think it starts here where it says name, right? We're going to do this. And it even tells you, like here, for JSON objects use this open bracket and this close bracket to have variables. So we just follow what it's saying like this. And then we have access to name. So name, I can say Douglas. So we're going to do that for all of the values. And then title. So this is a dynamic, how we pass in dynamic values in Bubble. Years of experience. Then skills. Then education. Then certification. Language. Okay, I think that's all. So we don't want them to be private because we need to use them in our app. So I'm going to uncheck this. And then initially, you need to make an initial call. So I'm just going to say React developer, number of years, 8. Skills, then I'm just going to say HTML, comma, CSS, JavaScript. Yeah, I think that's enough. Education, I'm going to say bachelor's in computer science. Languages, English. Okay, then we need to make an initial call. So it now tries to make a call to our OpenAI backend with all this information that we gave it, and then we're going to get a response. So we need to do this initially so Bubble learns what our data looks like. And as you can see, it returns our data, ID created at model. What we want is in this choices. So we go here where it says show raw data to see what the data looks like. And our data is in this part where it says content, right? And in the content, you can see an HTML document. So you don't need to worry about how this is happening, what it looks like. Just click save. Okay, then let's go back, right? And you can see what the response looks like. You're going to receive a styled HTML directly like, then it shows you what it's going to look like. And then, so what we need to do, we need to design, and then when you click generate resume, we're going to edit this workflow. And what we're going to do, so under plugin, right? That's where we get that API response that we created, and we called it generate a resume. Then now it's going to ask us, what do you want to pass in? So I want to pass in Douglas, the name, the title, the years, but now I want to pass it in as dynamic values. So I now link my input fields. So input name, value. So we're sending the name, then here we're sending the title. So just going to do this for everything. Yeah, and don't worry about the data types. I know, for a number, it's supposed to be type number, but like when you're using OpenAI, it doesn't really care about that. It can infer that this is the data type that you're trying to send. Okay, and what's this? This is years of experience, value. Then for the skills, it's going to be input skills, value. Yeah, so just do it for all the fields. Then this is going to be, so this is going to be for the education, inputs value. Then certification. It's going to be inputs, certifications, value. Okay, done. And how do we know that this is done, this is working? We got a response. We come back here to design and we go back to index. We're going to create a custom state. So a custom state, think of it as like a container that is going to be holding this data. And we're just going to call it resume data. And it's going to be of type text. We create this. Default value will be nothing. Then let's go back to our generate resume button. And then here, we want element actions, and we're going to set state of an element. And the element is going to be index. It's going to be resume data. And its value is going to be the result of what we got in the first part. And we're going to get choices, right? And then in choices, it's going to be first item, message content. Remember, we had choices, and then inside choices we had content, and that's where our response was living. So here we're just trying to extract that message content. And how do we know that this is working? Below this, I'm going to add our HTML element. So there, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to align this to the center. Give it a width of 450, a height of 450. Then we're going to scroll down. So this HTML element, we're going to give it that HTML response that we got from OpenAI. Remember, we sent a request to OpenAI, told it that we want a response that comes back as HTML, right? And then we're just going to display that HTML in here. So remember, we sent that request, we got a response, we saved that response inside of our custom state. So now we should be able to access that. Okay, done. Then let's test it out. Yeah, hopefully it works the first time, but in Bubble, things never do. Okay, so name, Douglas, React, developer, 8, then React, HTML, education. Okay, then let's generate our resume. So it's now sending all of this information to the backend, or OpenAI in this case, and then it's going to return the resume back to us. Then when we scroll down, we'll see we get back the resume. So it's going to be Douglas, React developer, and all of these things, we didn't do any of this, right? We just gave it this information. But then it's telling us React developer with over 8 years of experience, skilled in React, holds a bachelor's, from fluent in English, gives us the skills, senior React developer at XYZ company. Yeah, and the beautiful thing about this, right? So right now it looks a bit ugly, it looks a bit messy. But then if we come back to plugin, right? This is our request that we're sending. So here we can just tweak it. We can tell it, hey, I want you to style this like a real resume. I can have templates, right? So in here, I can have templates. where I can say, I want this to be like a resume of, a senior developer who's had like 20 years of experience. I want this to be like a resume of someone like, so you would be doing that in the system request here. So you'd be saying you're a resume builder assistant only. So instead of saying you're a resume builder assistant, you'll be saying, hey, you are this user, X user, right? So you'll be like, you are, and then in here, you'll be like name, right? Or name is already there. So it'll be like user. And then down here, you can say Douglas, right? So now think of like a big system where you have users, you have accounts. Someone creates an account, right? They come to the platform, they create an account, they give you their name. Then what you're just going to do, you're going to tell OpenAI that you are this person, right? And I want you to, you have 10 years of experience. I want you to write a resume on this person's behalf. So now you can imagine how powerful that is. You now get a resume essentially of someone who has like 10 years experience. You can tweak, you can even put like X or years of experience. You can tweak that. Then it's going to write it as that person. And then here on the user, you can tweak it to say, I want it in this format. I want an image on the left. I want an image on the right. You can essentially tell it what you want the resume to look like. So yeah, it was just simple, right? Like raw, not that much styling. That's why it just came back simple like this. But later on, you can actually modify it, play around with the styles. Think of having like a website whereby you have like 10 templates. A person can choose, maybe you have like 3 templates that are free. They can choose the other templates. You can sell them. Then you're essentially making a resume. So this was just a basic of how we can build this kind of application inside Bubble, how we can communicate with OpenAI, how we can get back a response, and how we can handle that response. And even if you don't want to do it like this way, where you're using HTML inside of Bubble, you can ask ChatGPT. I keep saying ChatGPT. You can ask OpenAI to return it as a JSON. So what this then does, you can actually be able to extract the values, and then you can style it in a way that you want. And then, yeah, there are many possibilities of how we can play around with this kind of idea. We can, after styling this in HTML, making this look nice, then we can, using some Bubble plugins, we can do like an HTML to PDF conversion, then have people download that resume as PDF. So yeah, this is just the foundation of how we can build this kind of applications. So yeah, if you have any questions, please leave a comment in the descriptions. Thank you for watching.
We hired JetBuild Studio to build our MVP in Bubble. They handled the back-end, stripes and email workflow absolutely perfectly. They were so professional and so easy to work with, and everything was delivered on time. If you need a no-code team that actually delivers, then I highly recommend working with them.